Yeah, I loaned El cash, about $100,000. That day, we was due to have a little chat. The kid had hit his payback date, see? So anyway, he tells me he's got no way to pay up. I'm about to flatten the guy when he starts screaming, "Yes, I won $500,000. He got lucky, you know. Real lucky. If that waitress hadn't done what she'd done, everything would have been over."
Now I see the principal. The principal amount. Okay. I'm tired. Loaned to Mr. L plus 50,000.
Yeah, well, you've got the vig to take into account. Interest builds up fast, you know. It's faster than fast. $100,000 is twice his principal.
And the repayment deadline was December 3rd, the day of the incident in question.
Yeah, he was one lucky kid. He got that $500,000 just in time. So I ain't have no reason to kill the kid. And if I ain't got no motive, you ain't got no case. It's motive. Guess to have one, but what is it?
So his reasoning that he couldn't kill the victim was he has no motive.
This was found at Tenderlander. Potentially worth millions of dollars, so he would get even more. So his motive for killing him would be so he doesn't get the money and he gets the backlash.
So what's the evidence again?
Yeah, because I'm not very confident that Phoenix will actually, yeah. Let's see. So the Tigre is meeting Glen Elg to get his money back. If Mr. Elg had just given him the lottery ticket, that would have been the end of it. Yeah, so what's the Tigre's motive is the big one. If I don't manage to undermine this testimony, it's all over for us. Why would he have to poison Mr. Elg? And why did he loan him the money in the first place when he knew he couldn't repay him? How much did he have left on his debt? You want it in round figures? About $100,000. It's the whole amount. We're talking about a guy who had 58 cents in his wallet. What? You was telling me he wasn't even going to pay for the coffee?
He certainly seems to have been a brave man, this Mr. Elg.
That guy's real smooth, I tell you. Real smooth. You'll have your money in less than 5 minutes. That's what he says to me. The guy and calls me the Tender Tiger. He was skating on thin ice with me. Was there anyone else in the restaurant at the time? I don't remember. If there was no one there, I'll wear that ridiculous tiger shirt for a month. Mr. Armstrong, Maggie, and if I'm right, Violetta Cadaverini were all there at the time.
So the victim had intended to repay you from his lottery winnings from the beginning.
Seems that way to me.
But you wouldn't normally expect to win the lottery, would you?
Huh. The undying belief that your next roll will be your worst losing streak you ever had. That's what defines a true gambler. Makes it sound so cool. Don't be tempted, Nick. You haven't got the willpower for it. All I know is the kid took a shot and he got lucky in the end. Except he still died. The waitress, you mean? The girl with glasses in the defendant's chair. Who else could I mean? She hadn't gotten in the way. Things would have been bada bing, bada boom, over and done with. Maybe I should push a little more on this. What do you mean things would have been over and done with? Are yous all there or what? I'm talking about the cash. I was there to get my $100,000. That's all. I'm a businessman. It was all coming together before that waitress got in the way.
As far as I can tell from the witness's testimony, other than recouping his loan, Mr. Tigre had no motive. Witness, you will amend your testimony to reflect that.
Tigre's motive, huh? Okay, now is this relevant? What is this? The second time in a row that's happened?
Well, what happened?
Where I presented something, Phoenix is like, no, that's irrelevant. And then I presented it again after pressing on a statement, and he was like, yeah, no, that works now. So you just intended to get back the $100,000 you, Mr. L, owed you, correct? I loaned the guy the cash, so that's my right. Unfortunately for Mr. L, I don't believe the $100,000 is what you were after. Well, you've done that, right? What else would a moneylender be after other than the money? Oh, the moneylender was after money. But money in a totally different league. The kind of money that a single disc like this would fetch.
What is that?
A computer virus, Your Honor. A virus called MC Bomber.
A computer virus? What does one of those do?
Yeah, Dr. Nick. What does one of those do? A computer virus is a program that wreaks havoc on the insides of a computer.
What's on the virus here?
What is that?
I guess the beard isn't the only part of his honor that is from the Stone Age. I'll explain it to you later, Your Honor. Right now, this is the important part. A virus like MC Bomber would be worth several $1 million on the black market.
Several million.
Lending money with no hope of ever sealing repayment would normally be bad for business. But in this case, the very fact that Glen Elk had no way to repay the money is crucial.
What?
Glen Elk was a programmer, a highly skilled programmer. That skill was the collateral Mr. Elk put up in order to borrow the money. You're trying to suggest the witness's motive was to get a hold of that program? Exactly. The witness may have poor fashion sense, but he is by no means an idiot, right? Why do you make fun of everyone's fashion sense except for your own, Mr. Ungodly Cool Guy in a Mask? That's what he called himself.
Yep, he did.
A man like him could get his hands on $1 million without resorting to murder. Of course he could, provided that he had time. But what if he had needed the money right then? When the pressure's on, the luxury of choice tends to disappear. Logical theory, yes, I've got it.
Your camera's off.
I'm not even going to save, because this is what we're going with. Because even if it is wrong, I have infinite objections on stuff. In December of last year, you found yourself in need of a huge amount of money. About 6 months ago, you were involved in a traffic accident, weren't you? An accident involving a car and a scooter in which a young woman was injured. She was taken to the hospital where she underwent surgery. Where did you get all this info? These medical papers document the treatment of the young woman in question. According to these, her operation cost $1 million. Payment for these expenses was due in December of last year and was paid in full. Oh. Huh. No one would pay a bill like that. If the medical association got wind of it, the hospital would end up as dead as the morgue. But Mr. Tigre had no choice but to pay, because his very life depended on it. Grog!
Order, was his life?
Indeed it did, I think. Simply because of the injured woman being none other than Viola Cadaverini. Did you say Cadaverini? Bruto Cadaverini, mob boss in charge of all underworld activities in the city, and doting grandfather to his precious Violetta, also known as Viola Cadaverini. Your life was in danger unless you paid compensation to the boss, correct? It makes sense. You were desperate to acquire the $1 million Cadaverini demanded of you. So desperate, in fact, that you decided to sacrifice Glen Elk's life to pay your debt. On the day of the murder, Mr. Tigre's sole intention was to get his hands on this CD. Glen Elk had no way of paying back the $100,000, and Mr. Tigre knew it. But then, a miracle happened.
Not really a miracle.
The kind that Mr. Tigre would prefer to say never happened. But he can't. Neither can I. The lottery won? Exactly. At the 11th hour, Mr. Elk won $500,000 on the lottery, which left Mr. Tigre with no way of getting his hands on the all-important CD. At least, no legitimate way. So he resorted to illegitimate means. That's crazy. He murdered Glen Elk and then made his next move, to frame Maggie Bird for the crime. Mr. Tigre posed as Glen Elk, while Viola Cadaverini played the role of Miss Bird. And they reenacted the whole thing in order to establish a witness. The witness being the one we heard testify yesterday, Mr. Victor Kudo. Like I said, Trite, that's crazy. No one could pull off a stunt like that. For starters, there's no way the chef could have been kept out of it. But Mr. Armstrong knew all about it. Have you forgotten already, Mr. Gatto? Mr. Armstrong owed the witness money too. $500,000, in fact. He had no choice but to go along with Mr. Tigre's plan.
Order, silence using...
Raw ha 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 ha. You's putting on a good show, Spiky. If yous want to stay alive in the loan shark business, you gotta be careful. You saying I dressed up like that kid and created a witness and framed someone? If I did something crazy like that, I'd leave a trail as bright as my shirt. I ain't dumb enough to do something sloppy like that. I agree. What? Despite your appearance, you were very careful. That's why you took one more precaution. One more trick to make sure Miss Bird had no way out.
Why? Another one, Mr. Wright.
Interesting. Why don't you fill us all in, Tribulations? What was the trick you say Mr. Tigre performed to frame the accused?
Dude, was anyone Tony's badge?
What on earth
No.
is that?
It's a cardboard one.
What an insult to think anyone could be fooled by such a childish imitation.
Consider yourself insulted, Your Honor. Mr. Tigre, you didn't just pose as the victim on the day in question. A month ago, in this very court, you posed as me.
What? That...
The truth.
But... The witness looked something like it!
Wait, this was the same case?
Now that I think about it, it was... You, wasn't it? Oh, him. No doubt it was you standing here... court... month ago. The Phoenix Ray who put up the most disreputable, shabby defense I've ever said.
Graw. You should have brought I am with you. Can you prove that, Gramps? Prove the attorney who represented the accused here a month ago was this man. Are you prepared to take the stand and testify that it was him? Objection! It couldn't have been him because he didn't have a Maya. Mayas are required to be a defense attorney, and he didn't have one.
Wow. How could you use Maya's name like an object?
I'm not.
Oh, okay, good.
A Maya meaning all a Maya is an assistant that is smarter than the actual attorney, but does not get any credit for it.
Are you gonna put that in a dictionary?
Yes. Okay. Hey, forget about it, yeah? I wouldn't do something like that, not me. You made a mistake, right? It was someone else, huh? Have you got no pride, sir? This isn't a matter of pride. In case you didn't know, Wright here, in court, we deal with people's lives.
Mr. Godot is right!
Your Honor?
Speaking for myself, I am absolutely convinced. The attorney in question was the witness standing before him now, however, I presided over this court as judge of the vested power. Someone in my position cannot be swayed by memory without evidence.
He's orange!
What?
He is orange! Isn't that evidence enough?
Yeah, like, guys, what are we off?
We're going to end it here. Thanks for watching, Pharaoh.
Farewell.
Farewell.